New Zealand uses a proportional electoral system known as mixed-member proportional. This system has many advantages, but it also has one massive shortcoming. It gives minor parties an enormous amount of leverage. Minor parties are potential coalition partners, and major parties usually need coalition partners if they want to govern. That means striking deals with parties that often have a tiny percent of the vote. Often this minor party may be able to choose who they form a coalition with. A party with only 5% of the vote ends up deciding the electoral outcome. Winston Peters is of course a notorious example of this. In 1996, 2017, and 2023, he was the kingmaker. He only had 5% of the vote, but that was enough to push either side over the line. The result was that he got many policy concessions and cabinet positions, along with deciding the election outcome, all with just 5% of the vote, an enormously disproportionate amount of power. This is a pretty massive downside of mixed-member proportional. It goes to show that proportional representation is not perfect. Every electoral system comes with an array of strengths and weaknesses. Proportional systems are no exception. Having said that, I still find them to be preferable to first-past-the-post. In first-past-the-post systems, two big parties often end up holding the country hostage. People vote for parties they hate because they only have two practical choices. Look how hellish American and British politics has become. Look at the awful options the voters have. This is a direct result of first-past-the-post. First-past-the-post also gives rise to ridiculous electoral outcomes. The distribution of the vote often matters more than the actual number of votes or percentage of votes. Keir Starmer got a much smaller percent of the vote in 2024 than Jeremy Corbyn got in 2017. But Corbyn lost while Keir Starmer won a massive victory, because the votes of his opponents were distributed differently. And there are even worse examples. In 1978 and 1981, Labour got more votes than National. But National won both elections because their votes were distributed more effectively. They won more electorates with fewer votes. These ridiculously unfair outcomes make a mockery of democracy. At least under a proportional system, the majority always wins, just not always in the way expected. Proportional systems have many advantages. They empower third parties. This enriches democracy by giving voters more choice. This also makes politics more competitive, as simply being a lesser evil is no longer good enough. Proportional systems result in governments that more accurately represent the vote and have greater democratic legitimacy. By empowering more diverse perspectives, they also address destructive perceptions of powerlessness and helplessness. Proportional systems are far from perfect, but their advantages heavily outweigh their downsides. We must defend proportionality. It is a precious thing, and it is a very valuable thing.